I'm Father Joshua Nelson. I'm a priest in charge at St. David's Episcopal Church in Elkhart, Indiana. I hope that you are having a blessed, albeit different, kind of Holy Week as I'm filming this. Today I'm coming to you with some fun ways to enhance this holiday as we prepare for the Paschal Mystery and for Easter Sunday as we celebrate the resurrection. There is a long-standing Christian tradition of dyeing eggs red. This is in remembrance of a miracle that occurs with the Blessed Mary Magdalene. The story, the legend goes that she was invited to the court of Caesar, where she had dinner with Caesar and with the emperor, and explained to him the story of the gospel and the story of the resurrection and the good news of Jesus Christ. And the story goes that the emperor grabbed an egg from the table, a hard-boiled egg, and said, "A man can raise from the dead as sure as this egg can turn red." So Mary picked up an egg, and in her hand it turned red. And this image is in a myriad of icons that we can still see today. So the tradition is to dye your eggs red. Now, in a time of insecurity and food insecurities, and not really wanting to go out and do a lot of shopping, you don't necessarily have red dyes or spending money on little cheap gimmicks to dye your eggs. So there is a traditional way to dye your eggs red using the skin of red onions and some red wine vinegar. So I'm going to show you that today. Now, I've already peeled the onions. Whew, and was it a job? About 10, for this batch, about 10 red onions. You peel the skins off and separate them, put them into a pot, and then cut up the onions, freeze them, save them, use them in whatever ways you want later on. As I was doing this and the onions are affecting me, I thought, this is really appropriate for Holy Week. We shed one tear for the Passion of our Lord and shed two for the onions that you cut. So good luck with that. But I've got the skins of about 10 red onions here in the pot, and you want about 10 cups of water, and I've already got most of that in here already, just to make things go a little smoother for this filming. I'll bring it up to about 10 cups of water, and 200 milliliters of red wine vinegar, and that's about 3/4 of a cup. And then the last ingredient we need is some salt. So I've got some salt here, about 2 tablespoons worth, and you just pour that in. Whoops. You want to mix that up good and well. And we're going to bring that to a boil. Just a good rolling boil, and then reduce the heat to medium and let it simmer for about 40 minutes. So I'm going to let that start cooking, and I'll see you in a moment. Hello all again. After that short break, we let the dye mix simmer for about 40 minutes, and then removed it from the heat and let it cool for about 15 minutes or so. Now I've moved it back onto the eye. I haven't started it yet. And I've put in some eggs, and the way you want to do this, you can leave everything in. If you leave the onion skins in, you're going to get this cool marbled effect. If you don't want that, you can strain it out and there'll be just a single color. But I'm going for the marbled effect, and some other ways that I'll show you in a moment. So just put your egg on a spoon, run a race if you want. Gently lower it down into the pot. And then once you're full, we're going to start it back on a low eye. And let it simmer for, let's see, I wrote it down, for about 30 minutes on the heat. This will cause the eggs to boil in the dye, and then we'll do some more to it later. See you in a moment. Once again, we let the eggs simmer in the dye for about 30 minutes, and then took it off the heat and let it sit for 30 minutes and just kind of letting it cool down. Now I'm going to remove them from the liquid. I got this nice straining spoon, but you can see you get this lovely, lovely red color, and all that's doing that is the red wine vinegar and the red onion skins and a little bit of water and salt. So there you've got your red, beautiful red eggs. I'm taking them out, putting them on a plate and paper towel, let them dry, and then once they're dry, I'll show you what to do with them. Again, we did the first batch that I'll show you later. It came out beautifully, but now my sister Megan is here with me, and we're going to show you some other things that you can do, natural ways to decorate your eggs. And you're going to need some old, clean, what are these called?
Pantyhose.
Pantyhose.
Nylons.
They're going to cut up so that you can put the egg in. And you take flowers, herbs, anything from outdoors, something natural, and you're going to place it on the egg, best you can, and then it's going to go into your pantyhose. Now I did this wrong. The best way is to tie one end and then put it in. But you'll want the pantyhose to go tight around the egg, and you'll tie off both ends. So you eventually get something like this. And we're going to put these into the pot of our natural dye and do the same cooking process, and we'll see in a moment when all that's done. Okay, now that we've done our fun designs and put them back in to boil, we're going to show you how those turned out and the final step of this all-natural egg decorating procedure. And it's really kind of cool. So, I took one of these. This one, we're hoping, turns out to look like a cross. We're hoping.
We just use 2 hair ties, or you could use rubber bands, and put them around the egg to kind of give it a crisscross pattern.
Didn't exactly come out. We've got some lines on it. This was clover. It came out really well, if you can see it. But they come out, and once you let them dry, they go kind of this dull, light brown, soft mauve color. But that's where the final step comes in. You want to do the decorated one?
Sure.
So you take just a little bit of olive oil. Go ahead. And a paper towel. And give it a final polish. Nice, covered all over. Give it a good shine. It's kind of like waxing your car. Maybe even a bit of Karate Kid. And then once it is all nice and covered in the olive oil, you let it dry in however you want. And they eventually will be like this, nice and dry, and keep that beautiful sheen and awesome red. Get closer to the camera. And this we did about an hour ago, and it still looks just like that. So, I hope you all have a wonderful and blessed holy end of Holy Week and Eastertide. And remember Mary Magdalene as you go and use the natural things to dye your Easter eggs. Was that fun?
That was fun.
It was fun. Now we're going to finish this and take care of the baby who's cooing in the corner. Peace.